This video is about non-core CA subjects. Yes, you heard me right. I'm not going to talk about core CA subjects and I'm going to talk about finance. Quite frankly, it's been some time that I'm active on this channel and I am bored with CA subjects. I don't want to talk about them for some time and I do not want to deviate from finance. So I'm going to talk about something which is very, very important. And people don't really understand this concept. So let's talk about the financial concept of buying a phone. I believe there are a lot of people who watch this video and are either Apple fanboys or OnePlus fanboys or Samsung fanboys. Let's be honest, there's no real person who's saying that I'm a fan of Xiaomi or Vivo or Oppo. There are certain fans for certain brands and today it is very important, if you love any of these three brands, you hear me out on what is going on. So it is completely a personal observation, personal opinion, and I'm going to talk to you freely about what is the concept of investing in a phone. So my phone right now is 4 years old, and this thought of investing in a phone has been there in my mind for 1 year, almost 1 year, and I've not made an investment till date. Till date, I'm using a very old phone and I'm shooting with that same phone. So this is all the analogy that I have done for the purchase of my phone, which I'll be making soon. So I hope any of this information is helpful to you, and do not be biased when you're watching this video. Just think very openly about what I'm going to talk. So first, let's talk about a phone. What is a phone? Smartphone. A smartphone is a depreciable asset, and you have to understand why it is an asset as well, why it is a depreciable asset. When you talk about depreciable asset, you have to understand that it loses value almost instantaneously. You buy a phone, you unwrap it, maybe people will not buy it at the same price. So over the period of 3 years, it will not only be outdated, it will be losing its value significantly. Maybe you will be able to sell a phone which is worth, let's say, 1 lakh for 20,000 or 30,000 with great difficulty. Have to break your head with many OLX buyers and then finally sell your phone. So this is the concept of depreciation that applies to the phone. Because the technology keeps getting outdated, people are not interested in the same phone and people do not value the same phone in the same way. 3 years ago, you valued iPhone 10 incredibly well and it was a deal breaker for everyone. But today, if someone shows you an iPhone 10, you will not value it because you have seen iPhone 13 and iPhone 12 and what it can do. So you have to understand why this depreciable asset concept is very, very important. And for explaining this concept, I have borrowed a phone for you practically. Not one phone, two phones, and very expensive phones. So I don't know if you can recognize this in the camera. Yeah, I think now everyone can recognize this phone. So this is an iPhone 11. When did you purchase it? Okay, so this was purchased 2 months back. Trust me, 2 months back. The MRP was 55,000. Then after discount with HDFC card, this came for 50,000. iPhone 11 64GB for 50,000. And as of today, the same person who bought this phone for one of their family members has bought one more phone, and that is this iPhone 12. And I'm pretty sure you can recognize this as well. So let's keep this phone aside and talk about phones. So that phone was purchased about a week back and it came around 3 days ago, and it was retailing on Flipkart for 50,000, and after Axis Bank's card discount of 1,000, my friend got it for 49,000. So what he could buy about 2 months ago for 50,000, he can buy a completely latest model as of today for 49,000. 1,000 lesser and a way faster phone and much of an upgrade. So you have to understand, this is the concept of depreciation. Your phone lost value in about 2 months time. I'm sorry about that, but then that's true. Amazon was retailing iPhone 11 around 36 or 33,000. I'm not sure if I'm wrong, but yes, it was retailing it around that price. And in the future, of course, iPhone 12 will also lose its value, and iPhone 13 will come down to around 45, 50, 55,000. But this is what we have to understand. This is what we have to embrace, that this is a depreciable asset and you cannot be attached to it. So there is one exception where depreciation concept will not affect you a lot. That is, if you are into a profession or a business, specifically if you're doing a business which is registered with GST, then you will claim input tax credit. Of course, there's a lot of depth. If you resell the phone, you'll have to forego the credit to a certain extent. That is a lot of depth. I can explain that later. But for general audience, you will get input tax credit, and you will also get the depreciation benefit of the phone. So if a phone costs, let's say 1,18,000, which is 1,20,000 is the cost of iPhone 13 Pro in India, around 18,000 or 19,000 will be the GST input tax credit you will get. You can keep this credit completely if you keep the phone for 5 years, and then the phone's effective cost is 1 lakh. And once you start depreciating it, assume that you will be able to fetch a value of 25 to 30,000 in depreciation benefit. That is tax benefit on depreciation. Okay. So for them, this phone costs differently, and for them, the concept of buying a phone is different. So this video is not for them. This is a video for normal buyers like you and me. So this depreciable asset concept is not an exception for us, and we have to understand it very carefully. So let's move on from the depreciation concept to what 50,000 could buy 2 months back and what 50,000 is buying today, and let's move on to what is the next parameter for you to understand what phone you should be buying. The next one is assessing your needs. See, there are some people who are buying smartphone only for the utilities, like making Google Pay payments, Phone Pay payments, watching YouTube channels for some reason, like let's say education or entertainment. And there is nothing much they do with the phone. They are least interested with the phone. So if you are in this category, you don't have to spend a lot, and it's a benefit for you that you can buy a phone which is worth 20,000 and still use it for 3 years without a hiccup. For people who are very interested in camera, then although your dream is to buy an iPhone or a Samsung flagship, but you have to understand that there's almost matching cameras for a cheaper cost in Samsung also. For example, what you get in Samsung S20 FE, you can almost get the same in A52, which is almost 60% of the actual cost of S20 FE. So if your real priority is camera, do not run behind other things. Get a phone which is really good with camera. If your priority is performance and gaming, then do not run behind the flagship. Get a phone which is good into gaming and performance, which is giving a higher chipset for a lower price. For example, there's iQOO Z or some iQOO Z5, which is giving Snapdragon 778, and this is a really good chipset. And there are many phones. A52s is also giving the same chipset. So there are many phones at a cheaper price which is giving a strong performing phone. So this is called assessing your needs. Yes, we are all ambitious. Who doesn't want an iPhone? If you give any Android lover also an iPhone, they will also be tempted, and that is how this works. So you don't buy things based on your temptations and ambitions, you buy things based on your usage. And that is what you have to understand. If let's say you cannot afford a particular phone and you're buying it, then you have to understand you have to use it for a really long time until every single part of that phone is not usable. So this is something very personal, and you have to be honest with yourself. Okay, I'm not going to speak further on this. And the third point, after depreciation and after assessment of needs, the third point is understanding what the brands are doing to you. Your brand loyalty will not help you. It will only make you spend more and more. And this statement is the most important statement in the video. This is a personal observation, and please pay attention to it. I will start with OnePlus because it has gained a lot of market in recent times. OnePlus originally started as a flagship killer. What do you mean by flagship killer? It is a phone which is designed to compete the most expensive phones of other brands. For example, Samsung's S20 or iPhone 12 or something. So when they started it out, their concept was to give a flagship killer phone at a cheaper price. OnePlus 1 started around 21 or 22,000 if I'm not wrong. OnePlus 2 was around 24,000. OnePlus 3T was 33,000. OnePlus 4 never came out. OnePlus 5 was 35. OnePlus 6 was 38 or something. And OnePlus 7 was also 38. OnePlus 8, 40, 42. OnePlus 9 is 50,000. And maybe my price is varying by 1,000 or 2,000 rupees, but you know the crux. The phone started from 21,000 and today OnePlus 9 is 50,000, and that is not even the most expensive phone by OnePlus. The most expensive phone by OnePlus costs 70,000. which is almost the same as S21 at 70,000. S21's higher version is S21 Ultra, which retails more than a lakh. But understand, S21 and OnePlus 9 Pro are at the same price. The company which started out with a brand motto has not continued on this brand motto. They have moved on to fetching profits and getting customers. They have moved on with the concept they started, but you are still loving the company and are still loyal in the same way. This is number one for you to understand. The number two part is that OnePlus 9 has treated India as an inferior market. मतलब it has not given the same product. वो जो US में बेच रहा है, इंडिया में वो same product नहीं बेच रहा है. So OnePlus 9 has wireless charging, optical stabilization in the camera, and has 11 or 12 5G bands. But when you come down to India, there is no clear demarcation between what is a 9 US model and a 9 India model. It is very discreetly vanished that it does not have wireless charging. You will not find it. You will actually have to struggle to see that there is no option called wireless charging on OnePlus 9 India's page. It does not have, it has only two 5G bands. Basically, it's a namesake 5G phone. And the third one is missing optical stabilization, which is there in A52, Samsung A52, costing around 27,000 only. And the quality of camera is much better than OnePlus 9, and I know it for a fact. So the brand which you're loyal to is not loyal towards you. The amount of love you are giving for a OnePlus is not justified with what they are doing to Indian markets. And it is not just OnePlus. Let's come back to Samsung. Samsung S21 in US is selling with Snapdragon 888, which is a high performing processor. But in India, they're selling the same phone with Exynos 2100, which has a lot of heating issues and is not as efficient as Snapdragon 888. In US, the converted INR price is around 55-60,000. In India, it sells at 70,000. Despite the Korean manufacturer having a huge economies of scale and can actually take the burden to match the prices all over the world, it has given us an inferior processor and has given us this useless phone which is made out of plastic. S20 was made out of glass, and when S21 came out around the same price, it's made out of plastic and has an inferior processor. And we as fools just go and buy it. I'm not saying that it is something wrong, but you're not realizing that you're getting an inferior treatment. The company is running away with giving you a bad phone at the same price and just advertising it as if there's nothing changed. This is very important for you to understand. And I am not a tech YouTuber, so other technical details I'll not get into, but I have a lot of interest in tech, and that is why I can speak about all this very, very confidently. Apple is no less. Apple has given 64 GB starting storage in iPhone 10, and even today, until iPhone 12, it had 64 GB. From iPhone 10, 10s and 11 and 12, the video quality which an iPhone is shooting has improved so much. How can you justify the same storage in last 4 years with upgrading the phone? It doesn't make sense. And being a market leader, today iPhone removes the charging port. Almost all flagship phones will remove the charging port. You are a market leader and you still do not follow basic sensible upgrades in your phone. And one more thing with iPhone 13 is that it launched at the same price at which iPhone 12 was launched, $800 in US. 128 GB. iPhone 12 64 GB last year, $800. iPhone 13 128 GB, $800. But in India, iPhone 12 64 GB was launched around 76,000, and iPhone 13 is launched around 80,000. Still a 4,000 hike, where the phones cost only around 20 to 30,000. Of course, the phones are costing so less, but there is a lot of R&D the company is doing. Still, you cannot justify that you're treating a complete market differently, especially a market which is 130 plus crores and is the biggest democratic nation in the world. I don't understand why people have brand loyalty. I was loyal to Motorola once upon a time, but Motorola has not done well in last couple of years. My first phone was a Moto E worth 7,000, and that was an excellent phone. But after that, I have not seen a great phone from Motorola from that price attractive and value for money point of view. So I've stopped being loyal, although it was a very difficult thing, but you have to understand. You can't be loyal to brands who are treating your country as a different market altogether. Why is USA getting a separate phone and why is India getting a separate phone? And Indians are paying a higher value. You can blame the government for a higher tax rate, but it's not like USA does not have a tax. USA also charges around 8% on an iPhone and India charges 18%. So there is a 10% differential, but the price which is actually differing in US and India is more than that. And there's customs also, but the company can bear a little bit of the cost and taxes to provide a phone at a similar cost. If iPhone 13 Pro in US is available for 80,000 and 13 Pro in India is 1,20,000, doesn't make any sense. And this part of the video was very, very long. It is only because you have to understand that being loyal to any brand does not make sense. And last but not the least and very important part is that financial budgeting. If you have saved 50,000 towards buying a new phone, you should never invest 50,000 in one phone. If you invest 50,000 today in an iPhone 12 and exhaust all your savings into it, and 1 month later your phone screen cracks, you have to pay around 25 to 30,000 just to get the phone repaired. And because you do not have the money to buy the new screen, you will run around with a broken phone for around 1-2 years. The amount of premium you paid to enjoy the phone actually is now a punishment to you. So if your budget is around 75,000, then go buy a phone for 50,000. And this is very, very important. You can't buy a phone just because you loved it. You have to know if you are actually having a use which is worth that money. If you do not have such a use, then actually go for something which is correct value for your money. And this is only an additional advice, it is optional, but it will make a lot of sense if you think from money point of view. If you have 1 lakh in hand, do not go buy iPhone 13 with 20,000 buffer. Buy an iPhone 12, keep 50,000 buffer, invest it into stock markets. Over the 3 years, when your phone has depreciated to let's say 25,000, your stock markets must have given you a return of at least 15 to 20,000. And that is on a minimum basis, which I'm telling you, 50,000 and 10% return per annum is normally available in a stock market if you study the markets well. So at the end of the day, after 3 years, when you sell your phone, you have what in your hand? You will have 25,000 as your resale value. You will have 15,000 returns from your investment as a minimum amount, and you will have 50,000. Almost 90,000 rupees you will still have in your hand after 3 years of time, and you would have used a premium phone, Apple iPhone 12. On the other hand, if you bought an iPhone 13 for 80,000 and 20,000 in your hand, let's say you invested 20,000 and you got 30% returns, which is 6,000. 26,000 in your hand, iPhone 13 will sell around 30,000, 35,000. Don't expect more than that. So 26 plus 35, 61,000. And there's nothing you can do. You lost 40,000 component in this. So invest only 50% of the amount you actually have in the phone, and then you invest the remaining 50% in a market. Always allocate this way for big electronics in your home, like an iPad or an iPhone. Don't run behind the most latest model, run behind the concept of depreciation. iPhone 12 retailing for 50,000, iPhone 13 retailing for 80,000. The difference is 30,000. What do you get for 30,000? A higher battery. Buy a power bank for 1,000, that's enough. And you get a better camera. Are you a pro shooter? Are you a videographer or a photographer? Then you don't have to watch this video to buy it. If you're not a videographer and a photographer, then you are using it for basic things, which iPhone 11 and 12 can also do. And if you check out any reviews without your biased behavior, you will know that 13's camera will not be like a 50% upgrade over 12's camera. So that is one thing you have to understand, that 30,000 premium for a next generation is not justified. Just simply buy this phone. iPhone 13 will depreciate at a higher rate, 12 will depreciate at a lower rate. And if you don't buy an iPhone 12, let's say you buy another phone, let's say you buy a Samsung A52 for 27,000, you can sell it off for 15 or 10,000. The depreciation component is much lesser in amount. And if you can buy an MI, then nothing like it. I know many people buy an MI and they are sensible. They are valuing their money correctly. Although the phone is coming with different things and different features and different drawbacks, but then at least they are not losing a lot of value in the phone. So a very long video, and I'm being very candid, maybe a lot of hiccups in the video, just excuse me for that. But 4 points, I'll just recap them for you. Depreciable asset, then the assessment of your use, whether you need such a phone or not. Stop being brand loyal, actually check which phone is giving you the right value and based on your needs. Fourth thing, try to use only 50% of the amount you have saved for a phone and invest 50% in the markets and get the return. Try to save your capital as much as possible. If you get bumper returns, let's say Tata Motors have gone up like crazy in last 1 week. A Tata Power has increased 50% in 1 week. So if you get bumper returns, maybe next 3 years later you can buy a more expensive phone and allocate the same 50,000 again in the market. So this concept is very important because Indians seem to be losing that financial independence, financial thought process into things which are materialistic and depreciating. Every mid 20 guy and 20-year-old guy's dream is an iPhone. Every mid 30-year-old guys and 30-year-old guy's dream is a BMW and Mercedes. You buy a BMW for 50 lakhs, 6 to 10 years later, you sell it for barely 8 or 10 lakhs. And the kind of expenses you incur for buying a luxury car, every service costs you around 1 lakh or something. And just this is a concept. Why don't you invest the kind of money instead of buying a Jaguar, Land Rover or Range Rover? Why don't you invest it in your business? Why don't you do something better with it? So this is not there in a lot of people, and I really hope if this is not given your decision making, it at least gives you that financial point of view of buying a phone or any asset. One more small tip which I forgot to give you is that do not buy a phone in this manner. Do not be hasty when you're buying a phone. This phone was bought 2 months ago, and knowing the fact that iPhone 13 is just around the corner, you shouldn't invest in a phone at that time. Understand when to buy the phone. The timing is very important. There is always Flipkart sale and Amazon sales. As of today, the phone market has a lot of margin, and this margin is available to the e-commerce retailers because they are reselling the phone and they are not just e-commerce platform. So when you're buying a phone during the sale, then you actually get a huge discount as well if you have the correct card and you get the correct discount. So if you would have bought this 2 months later, that is at this point of time, you would have got this same phone for around 36,000. You would have saved 14,000. Do not buy phones when they are launching immediately. Buy them after 5 to 6 months. You get user reviews. You'll get to know better about the phone if there's any problem, and you'll also know what is going on with the phone, and you'll get the best price. As of today, if there is one phone which is there with my sister, which is Samsung Galaxy M40. After 6 months of use, Samsung sent an OTA update, over the air update, which was around 400 MB, and I was the one I was updating it, assuming that is the latest Android version. What Samsung did was gave a small security patch and installed around 9 to 10 new apps in the phone, and I had no option to stop it. It was a mandatory update and I had to do it. Samsung received the money for installing those 9 apps in your phone, whereas you had to sit and delete those apps from your phone. So this is the kind of treatment brands do, and this is what happens after sales also. So the buying decision, this is a small tip, just buy after 4 to 5 months, you will get the review, you will get a good price on the phone as well. Again, that's it. Thank you.